The origins of the Russian Revolution. We'll change now the subject. Let's focus on Russia. Back to the beginning of the 20th century, before the First World War started, the Russian Empire still existed, and it was an absolute monarchy under the authority of a Tsar, an emperor, who held an absolute power as head of the state, head of the government, and head of the Orthodox Church. It existed a parliament, it was called Duma, but it had no power at all. Politically, there was no opposition to the Tsar, because people had neither individual nor political rights, of course. The economy of Russia was based on agriculture. The industrialization had started based on the railway and the heavy industry, and made the creation of a proletariat possible. However, most of the population were peasants, and these peasants lived under very hard conditions, imposed by the nobility, who were the owners of the lands. Most of Russian population in urban and rural areas lived in poverty. So by the end of the 19th century, a kind of opposition started. This opposition against the Tsar produced different political parties, clandestine political parties. The Socialist Revolutionary Party, the Constitutional Democratic Party, and the Russian Socialist Democratic Workers' Party. The Socialist Revolutionary Party was made up of agricultural workers and wanted to collectivize lands. The Constitutional Democratic Party didn't want any revolution, just to transform Russia into a constitutional monarchy. And the Russian Social Democratic Workers' Party split into two groups: the Mensheviks, who were moderate and wanted to make a gradual transition to a socialist system of government, and the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov Lenin, who were radicals and wanted to establish a proletarian dictatorship through a workers' revolution. Remember the first part of this unit, when we studied the imperialism. According to the imperialist ideas, Russia tried to expand its territory to the east, and that led into a conflict with Japan, and therefore to a war. Russia was defeated at this war, and at the same time suffered a hard economic crisis. The two facts together led to riots and finally to the revolution of 1905. This revolution started just a demonstration in January 1905. Just people went to the Tsar's palace, the Winter's Palace, asking for better living conditions. Most of the demonstrators were women, children, and old men. A military force repressed the demonstration by shooting at the people, and plenty of people were killed. It was called the Bloody Sunday. People reacted, and strikes and more demonstrations happened everywhere. Peasants and workers met in assemblies to discuss the way of acting. These assemblies were called Soviets. Tsar realized the growing opposition, so he made few political concessions. The most important one was the decision of conforming the Duma via universal male suffrage, pretending his absolute monarchy was being transformed into a parliamentary monarchy, constitutional monarchy. These concessions were published in a manifesto, the October Manifesto. The Constitutional Democratic Party and the Mensheviks agreed to this manifesto. However, the Tsar continued ruling without Duma, so Russia continued being an absolute monarchy.